Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to this educational presentation, where today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite packages. This is the Dynamic Duo. It's two methods that we teach our students around the world, and it's probably one of our most popular as well as successful packages we have for students because it really makes trading simple. And as it says here, it takes your trading to the next level. For example, let's look at this older chart here in KLAC. Okay, this happened just about a month ago. Most traders looking at this chart would say, sure, we're in a nice uptrend, but I go to that chat room and they tell me that there's major resistance right here. So I don't, know if I want to do anything right now. Maybe I'll wait for a real, highly noticed signal to be generated. Well, here's what the Dynamic Duo does. It looks for momentum before it actually takes place. For example, it actually generated, the first method I'll be sharing with you today, generated two signals. And one was a sell, as you see right here, and the other was a buy. Now, obviously, the sell isn't working out that well. So a lot of students will say, well, I'm not sure if I want to take the buy signal, if I should get out of the sell and take the buy. So which one should I be involved in? Well, this is where the second part of the Dynamic Duo comes into play. Because right here, the second method actually confirms which signal you should be taking. It tells you which is the higher priority of the two signals. And in this example, it would not have confirmed the sell, it would have confirmed the buy. And as you can see, the stock took off 64 points coming into just a few weeks ago. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, taking your trading to the next level with the Dynamic Duo. I know a lot of students who are new to our programs and to our methods say, well, Steve, I'm not that type of a trader. I've never really traded this way. I look at the news, or I wait for the interest rate, numbers to come out, or the, jobless claims. That's how I make my decisions. Well, that's okay. We totally understand that. I was trained myself the same exact way. So we've made trading simple. Pro Trader Strategies and myself developed the PTS Primo Charting Platform that actually teaches you how to trade with the Dynamic Duo, and everything is just one click away. And you'll see that today in today's educational presentation, how easy and simple it is to trade this high probability method. So welcome once again. My name is Stephen Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading. Thank you for joining us on this, I believe, the last Wednesday of November. We just have a little bit more left in the year to get back on track. And that's what we're trying to do, because we are first and foremost an educational company. We're a little bit different from other webinars you may have attended, in that our only purpose is simply to educate you, because our belief is the only way you can make your own trading decisions is if you're educated. And most traders don't get to that point, and they just rely on someone else to make their trading decisions for you. In my opinion, what I've seen in my 45 years of trading, that's a recipe for disaster, because you will only be a consistent trader, from what I found out, if you make your own trading decisions. I make my own trading decisions. I don't look at any news. I stopped looking at news 4 decades ago. I was on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange, where it was pretty much your duty to look at the news and look at the interest rates. Well, I stopped doing that, and that's when my trading turned around. So this is what we try to do and instill in all our students around the world, in over 115 countries and in every state in the United States, to get them to the point where they can rely on what they know and really take charge of their own trading. And so that's what you'll see in today's educational presentation. Now, before we begin, we are required to share this with you, so please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results by applying the Dynamic Duo, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And since we are first and foremost an educational company, all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Now, if you'd like more education on a daily basis, I see a lot of new names here, so feel free to follow us on Twitter. I post different snapshots of our signals or strategies, also little bits of financial wisdom on a daily basis. So there's lots of free education if you follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there, abbreviation for Specialist Trading. You may want to copy that down. Now remember, we are, as I stated in the opening statements, an educational company first and foremost. That's our only purpose, because that's what's lacking for most traders' trading plans. I mean, they're really thinking that they know about the markets, but in the end, they're relying on someone or something else to tell them what to do. Remember, a good mentor does not trade for you. He teaches you how to trade. So if you're going to a website, if you've bought a system or a strategy, and basically it takes you out of the game, and all you have to do is simply buy or sell whatever it spits out, that's not really a viable method to be trading. You need to be a part of the process. You need to be in charge of your own trading destiny. So my goal is simply to teach you how to trade with a specialist edge so that you can make your own decisions. This is the same way that I was taught when I was struggling 45 years ago on the floor of the stock exchange. I was still struggling, even though I had access to advanced information, but it changed my way of trading around, and hopefully I'll be able to change your trading as well. Now, a few announcements before we begin. Once again, this is being recorded, so if you have to leave early or if we're having technical issues, don't worry. Each and every one of you will have and receive a link to this recording. Please disable all cameras and microphones, as it says in the chat box. Remember, this is a static Zoom presentation. It's not interactive, so we won't be needing any cameras or microphones to interact. You can ask me questions, though, through the chat box or the question and answer box at the end of the presentation. So just kindly wait till the end, and I promise I'll get to all the questions then, okay? All right, with that stated, let's begin. And I'd like to start out by something my mentors shared with me, and it really turned my mindset around as to what I should be focusing on when I trade. So here's what they said to me some 4 decades ago. They said, Steve, the market you're trading, doesn't matter what market, could be stocks, could be futures, currency pairs, even Bitcoin. But the market you're trading, regardless of time frame or direction, doesn't matter if it's a 5-minute chart, a monthly chart, weekly chart, tick chart, doesn't matter if it's going up, down, or sideways. But the market you are trading, regardless of time frame or direction, tells you everything you need to know. Now, this went against everything I had been trained to listen to and to know about trading. I was always taught that, well, I have to know what the interest rates are, or what I have to know what all the earnings estimates are, or I have to know what some guy on TV is saying who's been trading for 20 years, because that's how I get my ideas about what the market's going to do. But unfortunately, that really doesn't work, because it did make me a dime. And on top of that, this is the way people are still being taught how to trade. And if that works so well, why is it that 80% of all traders lose money? It's because there really is no consistency in that benchmark for making your decisions. So rather than focus on, the jobless claims, economic numbers, or what some guy on TV is saying every day after the close, why don't we focus on what the market is saying? It should be a lot simpler, right? The chart in front of you. Well, the only trouble is the market speaks another language. It doesn't speak the same language we're speaking. It doesn't speak English. It doesn't speak what we know and understand. It speaks an entirely different language. The good news is that language is not that difficult. In fact, it's a lot easier to understand than it is to understand what the earnings estimates are going to be, or what the jobless claims, or money supply in my day, what they used to be. That's much more difficult and much more subjective. The market is really cut and dry. So how do we listen to the market? Well, we listen to the market with these 2 methods that we're going to be sharing with you today. They make up the dynamic duo. These 2 methods are extremely simple, but they're based on the chart in front of you, the market you are trading. Because once again, the market tells you just about everything you need to know. So these 2 methods help us translate what the market wants to do. So let's go into the very first method, which is strategy number 4. You've heard me speak about this before. This was the very first strategy my mentors taught me some 4 decades ago, and I continue to use in my own personal trading to this day. So let me share with you some of the highlights. It is a pattern recognition strategy, okay? It's not based off any news, not based off indicators. It's based off a pattern that repeats itself over and over again in any market and in any time frame. Now, it's designed for traders looking to catch momentum. And the beauty of strategy 4 is often it will generate signals when it looks as if there's no momentum at all. And I'll show you a few examples where it really exemplifies that. And lastly, because it is a pattern recognition strategy, it only uses 1 indicator. All right, and I'll share with you exactly how it's applied. So let's look at a few older examples just so that you understand the process behind strategy 4. Now, I can't give you the entire rules, but I'm going to share with you just the process so you understand how simple it is to apply. All right, an older chart of VRSN here, right? Once again, sideways, right? Nothing really happening. Looks like we're in a range. These are the markets you're taught to ignore because every time it goes up to that top range, you buy, you're thinking it's going to break out and it goes lower, right? So you sell, then it goes right back up. And then you buy again, it goes back down lower. So you don't want to do anything here, right? Well, that's if you listen to the market the way we're all told. But if we listen to the actual chart in front of us, if we learn to listen to the market, what's it telling us? Well, the first thing we teach our students is to apply the 50-period moving average. Why? Because that tells us, through the market translation, whether we should be a buyer or a seller. See, if price is above the 50, the overall trend is up, and we will never buck the trend. So this means we will only be a buyer if price is above the way it is right here. Now, if price were below, well, we'd only be a seller. This automatically will increase your odds for success tremendously just by applying this simple process of the 50-period simple moving average. If you don't believe me, go back and look at your last 10 or 20 trades and plot the 50-period moving average. I don't care if you trade 5-minute bars or weekly bars. It makes no difference. But if you bought below the 50-period moving average, the odds are the trade did not work out very well. And if you sold short above the 50, odds are it didn't work out very well. Sure, every once in a while you'll get a good trade, but over time, you'll most likely give it all back. So we're trying to listen to the market to put the odds in our favor. And the first rule of strategy number 4 is to apply the 50-period moving average to tell us if we should be a buyer or a seller. So obviously in this older example, we are a buyer. Now, we teach you in the course this pattern that repeats itself over and over again. And we teach you what to look for. And if you were an astute student, you would have seen that there was a buy signal right here by applying this pattern. So we have these things in place, and look what happened. 20-point rise right there before any momentum appeared on the chart. Why? Because we were listening to the market. We weren't waiting for the earnings to come out. We weren't waiting for some major economic announcement. The market told us what it wanted to do in advance. Here's another example in PINS, okay? Let's say you go to that chat room and that guy says, I love this stock. There is major, major support here. You see how many times it comes down to this level and then bounces up. This stock is going to take off. You have got to buy it, right? Sound familiar? This is the way most traders make their trading decisions. This is the way I did some 45 years ago. I used to listen to the so-called gurus. And it's funny how they didn't know any more than anyone else because most of the trades I follow by them lost money. The reason is because you didn't apply the 50-period moving average. And once you did, you ask yourself, where is price in relation to that? Well, price is below. So what is the market? Not me, not some convoluted system, but what is the market telling you? It's telling you the overall trend is down, and the odds are you're going to lose money if you buy here. Because the market is telling you it wants to go lower. It's below the 50-period moving average. So if the overall trend is down, once again, we're never going to buck the trend. And on top of that, we apply the pattern, and guess what? It's generating a sell signal right here. And the stock fell 10 points in the next month, okay? Now, I know this is an inexpensive stock, but let's say you were long this stock. What a lot of our students like to do is rather than go short, they don't like to sell short that much or buy puts. So they'll use this to exit their long positions because obviously if the pattern is telling you most likely the momentum is going lower, well, you don't want to be long that. So that's a good exit signal. And look at all the chances you had to get out before it fell. Now, strategy number 4 is an extremely consistent method. But remember, consistency is an awareness that you will have losses from time to time. Consistency does not mean that every trade is a winner. It means that you will have losses. But what you want is a method that's able to recoup those losses. Now, I know a lot of students say, well, that means every trade is going to be a winner. Well, that's not true because let's look at this example in SIX. All right, price is below the 50. Rule number 1. All right, so we're going to be a seller. And we see that the pattern appeared to go short. So, all right, I'm a seller. So let's say this is your very first trade you're going to take with a strategy number 4 course. You're all excited. Maybe you buy the puts or maybe you actually short the stock and then this happens. You say to yourself, wow, this one isn't working too well. I've been in this almost a week now and I'm losing money. But you still feel confident. You say, well, you know, that guy must know what he's talking about, that Steve Primo guy. So when you get another signal right here, you say, I'm going to double up. Now I'll make even more money. So you sell some more, maybe some more puts, or you buy some more puts, or you sell short, and then it continues to go higher. Now, price is now above the 50-period moving average, so we shouldn't be a seller anymore. So you take the loss. You say to yourself, wow, this didn't feel very good. I don't think that guy was being very truthful about this. I thought strategy 4 had a ton of winners all the time. but you're willing to give it one more shot. And as the trade progresses here, even though you're out, now you see two buy signals. And for the majority of the last 10, 20 bars, we've been above the 50. So you say to yourself, okay, now this is going to work out. So I'll buy here on these two signals, and I'll double up, and I'll make all the money back that I lost, and I'll be happy. And so you buy, and then this happens, right? At this point, you're ready to track me down and punch me in the face because you say, hey, I thought you promised me that this thing was going to work. It's very consistent, but we can apply the second part of the dynamic duo to filter out these bad trades from the good ones. And this brings us to the second portion of the method, which is the PET-D, our confirmation tool, because it's confirming whether we should take the signal or not, okay? Let me show you how this works here. The PET-D is a tool, once again, that I learned some 4 decades ago on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange when I was working down there. Now, at the time, it was a hand calculation. It was so cumbersome and so complicated that we had to use a calculator to calculate it almost on a tick-by-tick basis. But what we've done is made it into a color bar tool. We've taken all the hard work out of it for you. There's nothing to calculate. There's nothing to figure out. You just have to look at the color of the bars. For example, looking at this older chart in ATER, obviously you're in a downtrend. So at this point, if you were along the stock, and let's say it gapped down here, you say, that's it. You know, I'm going to get out because I don't want to lose any more money. So you're out of the stock, and then this happens. Now it's making new highs, right? Is there any way to find out about the trend changes in advance? Well, this is where the PET-D is so valuable, because on our platform, you simply click on PET-D and it changes the colors from red, in this case, to green. Now, if you see a series of 3 to 5 red bars, as we saw up here, that's warning you, giving you an alert that most likely you're in a short-term downtrend. And so we knew when price was up here at 15 that the stock was telling us it wanted to go lower, once again, by this translator, the PET-D. Remember, we're only listening to the market. And look what happened. It went all the way down here. Now, the PET-D is not a predictive tool. It does not tell you how low or how high something will go, but it just is a finely tuned translator that translates on a tick-by-tick basis what the market wants to do. So right here, when you saw a series of green bars, that was your signal. That was your alert that this stock, ATR, now wants to go higher. It didn't come from me. It didn't come from some master system that you have no idea what it's based off of. It didn't come from some earnings report. The market was telling you, I want to go higher now. I think I'm tired of going lower. Now it's time to go higher. So that was your signal, and the stock went up all the way to new highs close to 20. So the beauty of the PET-D is that it tells you which direction you should be trading. Now, once you know that, you can confirm if your strategy is in sync with that direction. Remember, the 50-period moving average tells you the overall trend. The PET-D tells you the short-term trend. Now, how does this work with strategy 4? How are we going to apply it together? Well, when we combine these two together, this is what makes up our most successful package around the world, a trading package. It's called the dynamic duo. Because when you line up the PET-D with strategy number 4, you have this synergy for success, these high probability setups. This is our most popular trading package around the world, and our students absolutely love it. You can transfer it onto any market and any time frame. All right, so let me share with you the dynamic duo rules, okay? These are usually reserved for students in the course, but this is the process. If you get a strategy number 4 buy signal, you're only going to take it if the bar above the green arrow, the bar above the buy signal, is colored green. In other words, the bar above must be green like the arrow. Green bar, green arrow, okay? Now, conversely, if strategy number 4 generates a sell signal, well, you're only going to trade that sell signal if the bar below it is colored red by the PET-D. Doesn't matter what all the other bars are, before or after. All that matters is the bar above must be colored green if it's a buy signal. If it's a sell signal, the bar below must be colored red. And that's basically it. That's how simple this process is. But let me show you how powerful it can be. And remember, everything is one click away on our platform. It is so simple to apply because we've taken all the hard work out of it for you. And you have the PET-D 1 click away, strategy number 4 signals 1 click away as educational tools. Remember, we teach you all the rules in the course. We teach you how to apply it. but we also make it simple on our platform. Okay, let's look at an older chart of APA, all right? Stock is kind of going up, then kind of down to sideways. If on our platform, we click on strategy number 4, and in the drop-down menu, we click on signal arrow, it will generate all of the strategy number 4 signals. Now, some are better than others. This sell signal would have worked out well. This one, not so well. It would have gone straight up, most likely a loss. This buy signal would have worked out very well. But these buy signals didn't work out well at all. Nothing really has happened. So how can we filter out the bad ones from the good ones? Well, now on our platform, we click on Pet D, and it automatically changes the colors, green and red. And remember, the rule is if you get a sell signal, red bar, red arrow, okay? Now this is in sync. This is the dynamic duo, and look what happened. You could have potentially captured 5 points, okay? Not a bad little quick little trade. Now, how about this signal right here, a sell signal? Now, in order for us to take this with a dynamic duo, we should have a red bar below a red arrow. But what color is the bar? It's green. So the Pet D is not confirming this. It's saying, no, the trend is still up, so we wouldn't take the trade and therefore would not have had a loss. Now we have a buy signal. What's the rule? Green bar above green arrow. So we would have taken this. And look at that. That's a nice little trade where potentially we could have captured 8 points. Now we have a series of buy signals here. But what's the rule? Once again, in order to have a high probability setup, we need a green bar above a green arrow. And look at the color of these bars. They're all red. So we would not have taken any of these and therefore totally bypass this downward market. Some of the best trades are the ones you never take. And the Pet D has an uncanny ability to filter out those losing strategy number 4 signals. This is why this is our most popular trading package to date, and this is why it's so simple to apply. So let's look at some recent dynamic duo setups, okay? We've taught you the process. We've showed you what the dynamic duo actually is. We've actually given you a few rules, but now let's show you what could have taken place within the past month. Let's say I had given this presentation in October, all right? And you said, hey, I really like this style of trading. I'm going to become a student of this course, and I'm going to buy the course. Well, these are most likely setups you could have taken advantage of in the past month. All right, we're looking at AMAT, Applied Materials, okay? Now, once again, if we look at this stock, we say, well, yeah, we're in an uptrend, sure. But you know what? How do I know it's going to last? Well, as we click on strategy number 4, we say to ourselves, click on strategy, a signal arrow, I should say, and we have a sell signal. So you say to yourself, yeah, okay, well, that's good. It's giving me a sell signal right at the top of that little market rally there. So I guess it's telling me that it wants to go lower. Okay, so you jump in and you sell. And then this happens, right? Most likely you've gotten stopped out, or else you're losing money if you're still holding on to it. And once again, you're saying, hey, this stuff doesn't work. Look at this. It's gone basically sideways to higher, and I'm still short this thing. I thought this stuff was supposed to be a good strategy. That's where the dynamic duo comes in place. Because remember, in order to trade the dynamic duo, you also have to apply the Pet D. If you had applied the Pet D, you would have seen, remember the rule is red bar below red arrow. So what color is this bar? It's green. So therefore, that's not a high probability setup. It just filtered out that bad sell signal. You would not have ever taken that trade. Now, as we go forward, guess what? Strategy number 4, the pattern came into play again, and there now is another signal. This time it's a buy. So what's the rule for buy? Green bar above green arrow. And as you can see, this closed up on the day and the outline is green. So this is a valid dynamic duo signal, high probability. And had you taken that, 20 points in the next 5 days. Okay, see how simple this is. You would have taken this trade, you would not have had a loss, and you would have had a nice trade here. This just happened about 3 weeks ago. Here's another example on Amazon, okay? Let's say you say to yourself, well, I think Amazon's going lower, and I applied strategy number 4, and it agreed with me. Once I click on signal arrow, it generated a sell signal there. But remember, in order to have a high probability setup, you want to make sure the bar below the arrow is also red. So let's apply the Pet D. It automatically changes the colors. And guess what? It is. So this is a valid dynamic duo sell signal. High probability. Remember, high probability does not guarantee that everyone is going to be successful, but you've just increased your odds for success. And that's what trading is about, trying to put a little edge in your favor. And that's what the dynamic duo does. And as we see, it quickly fell 30 points coming into mid-November. Now look what happened here. It starts to bounce. So you say to yourself, well, you know, okay, I had a good trade. Okay, I'll give you that. The dynamic duo worked pretty well. But you know what? I still follow this guy. I read his blog, and he loves Amazon now. He thinks it's going to go up and make a new high. And so it's time for me to go long. Look at the trend has changed, right? Well, remember, we only listen to the market. We don't listen to someone who's writing a blog. I stopped looking at news once again 4 decades ago. I haven't looked at the news in 40 years. We don't look at earnings. We look at what the market's telling us. And guess what? That pattern appeared once more and generated another sell signal, and the bar below it is colored red. So you could have taken advantage of still another profitable trade, okay? Let's look at CTAS, Synthesis Corporation. Here's a buy signal. It's generated by strategy number 4. If we apply the PET-D, we see that it's validated, green bar above green arrow. So you could have taken that. This was just on the 7th, I believe. 38 points. Not a bad little trade in a couple of weeks, right? Or how about the sell signal in ZS? All right. In order to have a high probability signal, we want to apply the PET-D. Once we do, we see that, yes, it is confirming. The stock fell 36 points. Now, many times, you know, it signals this momentum before the momentum even kicked in, because if I go back and backtrack again, there's really no way to tell any momentum is happening here. The stock is basically going sideways. But it's funny how it is already determined through the pattern and through the PET-D that the momentum is going to be strongly issued to the downside, and you can see it. But oftentimes the momentum will dry up and go the other way. So you have to be quick. You have to be careful about how long you hold a position. Now, later on in the presentation, I will share with you a method that comes included with the course that could have had you exiting right here for a quick 36-point gain, right near the lows before the trend changed to the upside. All right, let's look at Moderna. All right, here's what we have called a mini cluster, where you have 2 or more signals right next to each other. All right, these are high probability setups along with a dynamic duo. Had you taken either one of these, you have a nice little profit here of roughly 41 points in the next couple of weeks. All right, let's look at Meta. All right, once again, kind of sideways market. Well, what color are the majority of the bars? They're red. So the short-term trend, even though it looks like we're going sideways, is down. And if you apply that pattern, which we teach you how to identify, guess what? Look at all the sell signals it was generating while it was going sideways. This was at the end of October, just about a month ago, and look what happened. All of a sudden, the stock gapped down. Do you see how the momentum automatically kicked into the downside? How did we know that? All right, that was obviously based on some news or some event that happened. Well, we didn't know that because if we once again backtrack, this was going sideways. There was absolutely no momentum at all identified. But the pattern along with a PET-D help you to identify this momentum prior to most traders. That's why you're able to get in many times earlier than when there's a huge news announcement that comes in. This is why we don't follow news, because the market told us in advance. Remember, as my mentors taught me, and as I shared with you in the beginning of the presentation, the market you're trading, the chart in front of you tells you just about everything you need to know. Here's an example in ODFL, Old Dominion, buy signal, green bar above green arrow, 50 points in just 1 week. All right, another example of market basically doing nothing, right? Just going sideways. Every time it comes to the lower level, it bounces. Every time it bounces up, it sells off, back and forth. In fact, it's what we call a directionless market, right? Well, to the unsophisticated trader, sure, it's directionless. But to the advanced trader, we know that the majority of the bars are painted red. The strategy is kicking in a number of sell signals, telling you that most likely it's going to screen to the downside, even though it hasn't done so already. And ultimately, it fell 87 points in the beginning of this month. Now, here's where we looked at those two signals, right? Which one do we take? Normally, if you're just a strategy number 4 trader, you would say, well, I got two signals. One's going to work. Obviously, one's not going to work. But with the dynamic duo, you can filter out most likely the bad ones by simply applying the PET-D. Now, for a sell signal to take place, a valid dynamic duo signal, we need a red bar below a red arrow. It's a green bar, so we're not going to take that. For a buy signal to take place, a valid dynamic duo buy signal, we need a green bar above a green arrow. And yes, we have it right here. And there's 64 points coming into just a few weeks ago. Most of these trades just happened just a few weeks ago. Okay, so let's go through the process here. Here's a chart of LRCX right at the beginning of this month. Okay, let's say you were a student and you decided to take your first trade. Okay, you say, all right, well, it's been going up, but now it looks like it's headed a little bit lower. Kind of not sure what to do here, but I studied strategy number 4, the pattern, and I want to check my work. So you see, okay, now we went up. I think I really see a signal. Click on strategy number 4. In the drop-down menu, click on signal arrow. And you're right, there is a signal right here, a buy signal. Rather than just take it, though, by jumping in and blindly just saying, I'll buy, you want to confirm it with the PET-D. So you click on the PET-D, and guess what? Green bar above green arrow. So this is a valid strategy number 4 dynamic duo PET-D buy signal. So you don't have to take it. Remember, our whole philosophy is you're in charge. You can decide if you want to take it or not. This is not a system. But let's say you had decided 85 points in the next 5 days, okay? Was there some news announcement, some earnings announcement? Did something happen overnight? We don't know. We don't care because the market tells us just about everything we need to know. All right, let's look at some examples of the dynamic duo applied to other markets, completely other markets, and other timeframes, because I want to show you the versatility of this really popular method here. Okay, here's an example in the euro dollar. This is going back to the beginning of the month once again. Buy signal was generated with the pattern, and the bar above the buy signal is green. And we jumped 500 pips in the next week. Okay, that's roughly about $5,000 or so. As we look here, we have a buy signal generated on a monthly chart of Costco. All right, this is a monthly chart going back to 2019. Now, if you're an investor, which we have many students around the world who are not traders, they're investors, you can still apply the dynamic duo. If you wanted to add to your position or you wanted to initiate, you'd wait for a strategy for a buy signal that was colored green, and also the bar above it was green. Look what happened, 390 points. And there were more signals generated in 2021. And in this past year, there was a buy signal generated in May, which is still in effect. Or to the downside. Now, this is a chart of Bitcoin. We all know that Bitcoin has been falling out of bed. It's been in the news. Everyone's saying the demise of Bitcoin. We have no idea. We don't know. We just listen to what the market's telling us. And if we look at this weekly chart of Bitcoin, all the way back to March of this year, I believe. Let me see. 2022, March of 2022. It was telling us that we have a valid dynamic duo sell signal. So on a weekly time frame, let's say you didn't want to sell Bitcoin, you don't feel comfortable going short, so you just say, well, I'm long it, maybe I'll get out and get back in. Well, you could have protected some of your profits because look what happened after that sell signal. You could have protected and avoided a 27,000 point loss, okay? The way so many students we've heard of horror stories where they're still holding on to their positions. And look at all the other sell signals that were generated all the way down, okay? So this is what we mean about how versatile this can be. You can trade it in any market, in any time frame. So let's recap what we share with you today. The dynamic duo is made up of strategy number 4. That's our most consistent method, a method I was taught 4 decades ago by my mentors and I still trade with today. It's a pattern recognition method, highly consistent, but it will have losses from time to time. It will have bad signals. So how do we filter them out? By applying the PET-D. This is another tool I was introduced to on the floor some 4 decades ago. We've taken all the work out of it for you. There's nothing you need to calculate by hand or struggle over to try and figure out. It's all on the platform for you. We turn the bars either red for a short-term downtrend or green for a short-term uptrend. Now, when you combine these two, Strategy 4, along with a pet D, you have this synergy for success that we call our dynamic duo, our most successful as well as popular trading package we have around the world. It's traded by more students than anything else we have. And we showed you how simple it is to apply the dynamic duo on the PTS Primo Charting Platform. Rather than having to figure everything out with calculator and have to look for that pattern and everything is one click away. You can click on strategy 4 and see where the signals are. You can also click on the pet D. Remember, we share with you everything in the course. This is not a black box system. So ask yourself, after everything we've gone through today, do you think these two methods can help your trading for the remainder of 2022? How about going into 2023? I think the majority of you today, in this big crowd we have, the answer is yes. So because of that, we have a great discount for all of you showing up today. This is our dynamic duo special, strategy number 4, along with the pet D tool. You're going to get instant course access, detailed instruction. You'll also learn, because I didn't go into this today, but you'll learn all the different entries we have, all the different exits and all the stop placements, because remember, it's up to you to decide how you want to enter. Do you want to buy at the market? Would you want to buy at a lower limit? Do you want to sell and get out really quickly? Would you like to let the trade run? Do you want a really small risk stop placement, or are you willing to have more room and risk a lot more? We give you all these different variables for you to decide. These are all included in the entire course rules. On top of that, you're going to get 4 completely different trading techniques that use the pet D. They don't include strategy 4. These are just trading techniques that only use the pet D. So you have a number of ways to trade. So we're not going to stop there. We're also going to throw in the PTS Primo Charting Platform. We're going to give you a full year of the platform. Now, this normally is going to cost you close to $1,800. Guess what? We're going to throw it in absolutely free. So with your membership to the Dynamic Duo course, you're also going to get a full free year of our platform. Now, I know a lot of you would say, well, so I'm just getting the Dynamic Duo on the platform. No, you're also getting a host of other techniques and tips and methods that I've accumulated in 45 years that you won't find anywhere else except on our platform. Most of these I've taken from my years on the trading floor. Things like auto-generated exit levels, things like strength of trend tool, things like the scanner, the multi-purpose scanner that will scan for these setups. And let me share with you what we mean by these auto-generated exit levels, because I touched on that a little bit earlier, okay? Let's look at this older signal in CrowdStrike. This is a sell signal. Obviously, the stock is going sideways, right? Absolutely no momentum. But the pattern was identified right here. And on top of that, the bar below the signal was red. So we have a high probability dynamic duo setup. Let's say you wanted to take that, but you're not really sure how to exit. You haven't fully developed your exit plan yet. Well, on the platform, we share with you one of our 7 different exit methods. It's one click away. So before you took this trade, you weren't sure where to place the limit. All you have to do is click on strategy number 4. And in the drop-down menu, remember you were clicking on signal arrows to identify. Now just go to range extension exits and click that on, and automatically you'll see these different levels appear. Now, if you're the type of trader that likes to get in and out quickly and move on to the next trade, well, you most likely cover your short and get out right here. Or if you bought the puts, once price traded there, you'd get out. If you were more of a swing trader, you'd use this level or this level to exit, okay? And if you're more of a most bang for your buck type of trader, you wanted to get as much as you could and squeeze out as much profits as possible, you would exit at the 4th and final level way down here. So let's say you think this is the best level that it's actually going to go down through your research and your feel for the stock. Okay, so you place a limit right here to exit to cover your short, or if you have the puts, to get out of the puts, all right? Look what happened after that. In 4 days, you could have potentially made 37 points in just 4 days. If you're the type of trader that wanted to get in and out quickly, well, you would get out right here on the 1st level. If you're more of a swing trader, you had day 2 or 3 to get out. But on the 4th day, you would have exited out entirely out of the position, because look what happened after that. The trend changed. So this has an uncanny ability to get you out before the trend changes many times, okay? This can also be applied for buy signals as well. This is included with your membership to the Dynamic Duo course, okay? So let's break this down, what you're getting and the great discount we have for you today. If you were normally buying strategy 4, it would cost you close to $700 just to buy it off the bat. If you were purchasing the pet D alone, it would cost you close to $5,000. And if we included, a full year of the PTS Primo Charting Platform, we're talking close to $1,800 more. So this altogether, without this great deal, would cost you nearly $7,500, okay? Here is the great offer we have today. We're not going to charge you that, obviously. We're just going to really go down to the bare bones minimum. We're going to charge you less than $500, a one-time payment of $497, and then just a small payment of $97 per month. That's it. So you don't have to come up with close to $7,500. Just for $497, less than $500, you can be up and running as early as today, and then just have a monthly payment of $97. Remember, this includes a full year of the platform as well. Now, we know we have a lot of students in the past when we've offered this deal say, hey, Steve, I'm sold. I don't need the monthly payment. If I buy it full, do I have to pay $7,500? No, we'll take off close to $2,500. You're going to save close to 35%. So pay in full, $49.95, okay? This is a great, great way to start out with probably our most successful trading package to date, our most popular one as well. And as we close here, remember, there's only 1 month remaining in 2022. We're basically at the end of November, right? There's only 1 month left. So ask yourself, are you anywhere near where you thought you'd be in January? You owe it to yourself to finish the last part of the year in the right direction, and on top of that, to start out 2023 in the right direction. Take advantage of this great offer. This may not happen again for a while, and maybe in mid 2023 we'll resume this again, but probably not at $497. It could be a lot higher. So take advantage of it while you still have it. You owe it for your success to take advantage of this low price and to get your trading back on track. Here's how to take advantage of this. Contact my sister site, which is Pro Trader Strategies. They developed a platform with me. They're in charge of all the pricing and the discounts. And they have trading consultants manning the phones right now at 310-598-6677. They would be more than happy to take your order over the phone, or even answer any questions you have about, let's say, pricing, about a payment plan, or even about tech support with the platform. What kind of data issues you may be having. Now, that link you see at the very bottom is the link that will take you to the info page if you'd like more information on the website. But it's not a live link. We've just posted a live link on the chat box. So if you open up the chat box on the top, you'll see that a live link was posted, and you just have to click that on as well, okay? Now, I'm going to leave this information up here. I promised you I would reserve the last portion to answer any questions that you may have. So you can either go to the question and answer box or the chat box to ask me any questions concerning what I went over today, okay? Someone is asking, if I just want to pay in full, do I have to do full price? Oh, no. Remember, let me just share with you that once again. Maybe you didn't understand. The full price is $74.55. No, you do not have to pay that. If you want to do that in full, it would be only $49.95, okay? And then that, oh, I see what you're asking. Okay, more questions. They're asking, can you get a payment plan on that? I'm sure you could. Trading Pro Trader Strategies is extremely flexible. They'd be more than happy to work with you. They could probably give you some type of quote. And I think the best thing is that there's no obligation to give them a call. You're not going to get some real aggressive sales pitch and have to do something. They would just give the information and let you decide, okay? So no, even if you decided to pay $49.95, they still may be able to set up some type of payment package with that as well. It's up to you, but that's something you would have to talk to them about, okay? Let me go back to this in case people wanted to copy down that number, okay? Someone's asking, how do we stay in contact with me? Is this a live course? No, this is a recorded course, meaning that you will get a video recording, and this is something that's sent through a link. This is not something you have to wait in the mail, 2 weeks for to have the cassette delivered to you. It's not that, or the DVD. This is something emailed you directly, so you can watch it at your own leisure whenever you like, when you're working during the weekend, and it's yours to keep. And then the way to contact me is each and every one of you will get my personal email address, and you can contact me whenever you'd like. I was talking to someone this morning, one of our students in another course. So there's lots of ways to contact. If something doesn't make sense or you need a little bit more instruction, you can contact me whenever you'd like, on the weekends, early in the morning, before the opening, after the close, makes absolutely no difference, okay? So it's just like having me right there next to you with the accessibility of me being able to contact me whenever you'd like. We don't want you to feel the way so many other websites do, where they sell you something and they say goodbye and good luck. And then if you do and are lucky enough to come in contact with one of them, it's usually a salesperson or an intern. It's not the actual person. Each and every one of the questions come directly to me. You don't go to a salesperson or an intern or an assistant. I see all the emails only, so there's no reason to worry about that. Okay, good questions. Remember, as we close here, this is an extremely powerful yet simple way to trade. I still apply this in my own personal trading, and it's really that popular around the world. We have students trading it in over 115 countries and in every state in the United States. Take your trading to the next level trading with a dynamic duo. That's what this webinar was all about. And in the future, if you're still struggling next year, you don't want to be where you are this time at the end of 2023. We're at the end of 2022, and most likely you never reached your hopes and dreams that you promised yourself in the beginning of the year. But get back on the right track. Start out, in the right direction with your profit and losses. And on top of that, take advantage of this really inexpensive price. I don't think it'll be this much lower for a different time, okay? All right, as we close here, I just want to say thanks so much. Remember to give them a call at 310-598-6677. They can answer any question, and there's no obligation at all, okay? As we take a look at our disclaimer, remember, I just want to thank you so much for attending today. I hope you learned not only about our powerful dynamic duo trading package, but also about our philosophy and what we really feel it takes to become a successful and consistent trader in today's markets, okay? Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you all the best of luck. Bye-bye. I'll see you next time.